right? They have this fear. Fear, as we know, is the most destructive weapon. The only fear I think we should have is dying and looking at yourself in your deathbed and meeting the person who you could have become, seeing yourself at your highest potential and realizing that you didn't because of your fear. Fear, as we know, is our ego's most destructive weapon. If there's anything that will stop you or paralyze you from ever achieving what it is you want in life, I don't care how successful you are, it's fear. Because you can reach a certain amount of success, but what about going for more? What about going the extra mile, the extra stretch? What keeps us from that? Some of us are afraid of rejection. What if I get rejected? Okay, so we play life a little bit safer. We don't ask the tough questions to the customer because we're afraid of being rejected. We're afraid of being humiliated. I personally don't like when people say, but you got to enjoy the moment, that's all that we have, and you got to focus in the moment. Yes, focus on the moment and enjoy the moment, but you can't forget the future. Because if you live the moment, and you live life just by today, you'll be sitting 30 years from now, 20 years from now, in that exact same place. Because you never had a plan, you never had a vision for anything else. Some of us are already being successful. And whenever I talk about fear of success, they go, fear of success, Tony, why would I fear success? Of course not. Some of us fear success subconsciously because of everything that it comes with success, the responsibility that success comes with. Some of us say we want to be leaders, but we're afraid of the responsibility. We're afraid of the hard work. We're afraid of long hours and everything that it's going to take. We're afraid that we might let our team down, and therefore we do fear success. And those of you who are already being successful, what about massive success? So the question I want to ask you guys right now is, we all experience fear. But are we aware at just how much it's affecting our lives? How much is fear affecting your life? And I'm not just talking about you and your projects. How is this affecting your kids? Your family? Right? The well-being of them and their success. Because I believe sometimes we're a little too greedy. We have plans, right? We want to achieve, we want to do. But we have this fear. That doesn't enable us to do that. You want to have fear? Fear mediocrity. Be mediocre. Fear poverty. Fear your family and your kids not having the life that they deserve. Fear that. But first, you got to have a vision. You got to have a vision in life larger than you. Okay? I'm not just talking about a 3-month plan or a 1-year goal. We need goals, and we're going to talk about that. I'm talking about something greater. I'm talking about, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Think about it. Where do you see yourself? What are you doing? Where do you live? What does your morning look like? Cuando te levantas en la mañana, what does your house look like? What are you doing for work? Or maybe you're retired. Maybe you have employees working for you. Maybe you're living in Asia. Maybe you're living the life that you wanted, that you always wanted. What's your vision? The world's greatest leaders had a vision. A lot of times we stop because we feel we have to have a plan. And having a plan is not necessary. That comes as your desire pushes you to look forward. As your desire pushes you to create a way, to make a way. To meet the right people in your life that are going to get you to achieve that. A mentor, an investor, a partner. But if you don't have a vision, then what good is a plan? A vision is what you're going to create. One that excites you. It has to be inspiring. Okay? It's got to be inspiring. It has to be compelling. It's got to excite you. A vision has to have the power to pull you and not push you. Meaning, if you have to push yourself to do something, that's not a vision. A vision is what excites you. A vision is the one thing that doesn't let you sleep at night. That you wake up so excited the next day to want to go after it. So I have a question for you. Is, what's your vision? What's your inspiring vision? And if you don't know, maybe you haven't had it, then here's a little bit of help. Okay, I think we all can get emotional at times, and we go through difficulties, right? Whether it's personal, whether it's here at work, whether it's spiritual. What do you cry about? on your own, when nobody's watching, what do you cry about? Okay, is it our kids? Is it the fact that maybe we're not where we want to be? Is that emotional, something that happened when you were a kid that haunts you? Do something with that. You see, that's your fire. You see, I believe that that is your fire right there. That's what you want, that's what you need in life. And we're going to talk about that in a bit. But you got to start with having a vision. Because unfortunately, what I also discovered is that 83% of the population does not have goals. 83% of today's population, the worldwide population, do not have goals. And 14 of them have a plan in mind. But obviously it's not even a written goal. They don't see it. There's no guidance when you wake up in the morning. Only 3% of people actually have goals. Now here's a scarier statistic than this. Okay, so 83% do not. So that means 17% do. Get this. From those 17 that do have goals, 70% will not achieve their goals. So now the biggest question is, why? So I want you to tell me, what do you think is the #1 reason why most people don't achieve their goal in life? What do you guys think? They quit, okay? Why do we quit? Okay, so maybe they had a goal, but they never decided to do it. Maybe they were afraid, so fear, okay, good, what else? Plan. They have no plan, okay? What else? A lot of times when I ask this question, people say, you know, we quit, no commitment, they gave up. Here's the answer. The #1 reason why most people don't achieve their goals is because they have the wrong goal. Now think about that for a second. #1 reason why people don't achieve their goals is because they have the wrong goal. The goals they have mean absolutely nothing to them. A lot of us do goals because our boss told us to make a goal. They make goals based on what their friends' goal. What are you going to write this month, Kobe? What do you got there? 1 page. Right? We make goals based on other people. We make goals because we were told, not out of desire. So subconsciously, of course you're not going to, subconsciously your body knows, your mind knows, you can't fool it. Right? How many of us here have wanted to lose weight or gain weight? Quit smoking. Okay? Why is it that every New Year, all of a sudden everybody's doing goals? But funny enough, statistics show that 90% of the people who set a goal at the 1st of January will have broken it by January 14th. 2 weeks, 90%, boom. So that was the goal. Why? Well, because the goal that they had was something they had to push themselves to do. Nobody likes to have to eat dried chicken, right? If you want to lose weight and eat vegetables. If you want to quit smoking, you don't really want to because you like it. So obviously we're going to give up. We're going to quit because it's not a meaningful goal. The goal means absolutely nothing to us. The goal that you said should have an emotional attachment to it. When there's an emotional attachment, you give it wheels. And you're going to need these wheels. Because life's not easy. You're going to fall in your body. You're going to be broken down in your knees. And something is going to have to get you up. There's got to be a reason and a purpose why you're going to get up and go through with it. But if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a reason why, then of course you're not going to achieve these goals. So when you set a goal, have an emotional purpose, a reason, a driver. You know why? Because you have been operating the way that you have been for the 30, 40, 50 years of your life. You've been operating the exact same way. So when you think of the word change, your subconscious goes, come on, man. Right? So, again, this is the psychology of achievement. We're talking about the psychology. Okay? The psychology tells us that when you go after change, chances are you won't get it. Go after progress. Take one step today instead of trying to run a marathon tomorrow. So you just take one step. Okay? So if you're not talking to enough couples, all you gotta do today is say, you know what? If I generally talk to 15, if I approach 15, 20 couples, today I'm gonna do 25. It's just 5 more. Do 2 more. Because then, eventually, that becomes your norm. Right? Every time it gets easier. But you gotta go after progress, because the word change, okay? The word change has a lot of resistance, but when you go for progress, progress equals happiness. So, why? Because when you can make a little bit of progress today, you know what happens? You pat yourself on the shoulder. And you go, wow, that feels good. I did something today different. I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I did a little bit more. You tried an extra 10%. Success is in the details. It's not in this huge amount of work. It's in the details. You doing 10% more today than you did yesterday, you already succeeded. When you gain progress because you worked and worked and worked a little bit more, there's going to come a point that you're going to get to this stage, like we said earlier. Change, don't go after change. Change is a result, right? Change is going to happen. Before you know it, you already got momentum. And momentum, I love. Momentum is my favorite topic of everything I'm going to talk about today, therefore it's the most powerful. Momentum is a leader's best friend and the cousin of victory. Yeah. Have you guys ever heard the term, the richer get richer and the poor get poor? Why? The richer get richer and the poor get poor because of loss of momentum. When something's in motion, it stays in motion. Okay, there's something called the compound effect. When something compounds, right? When you have momentum, nothing can stop you. A challenge will be so tiny and so small that it won't even bother you. Now, when you don't have momentum, sometimes we make a big problem out of a tiny little bit. Why? Because it's hard to get started. It's like a train. A train's got momentum, right? Once he's going, picture a train. Visualize a train going at 150 kilometers an hour. Okay? Full speed. And all of a sudden, there's a car in front of it. What is it going to do with the car? You've seen the video. Boom! Out of the way. Put a 5-foot wall in front of it, and it's going to crush it. It's going to go right through it because of the momentum that it's got. So this analogy of a wall is an analogy of a problem that you have. A challenge that you're being faced. When you got momentum, you go right through it. But when you don't, all of a sudden, this little problem is a huge problem. We complicate our lives because of it. So the idea is to get to this point called momentum. In professional sports, they understand the power of momentum. Have you guys ever seen a team that's down, right? Maybe they're in the last quarter, the team's down, and then all of a sudden, the team that was losing starts boom, boom, right? If it's basketball, one shot after another, and then the team, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. And before you know it, everybody's working synchronized as a team. And before you know it, the entire team has got so much momentum that what does the opposite team do? Time out! They want to kill their momentum because they understand the power of momentum. If they don't stop that momentum, that team that was seen as the weakest will outpower, outskill, whatever you want to call it, the opponent team. Because there's momentum. Right? When you have momentum, things start to happen in your life. You start to meet the right people, and then this person, and that person. And then before you know it, here, you're killing it. You've all had momentum at one point or another. You've all had it. Right? Visualize that time when you were having the massive success. Okay, the one point in your life when you were being the most successful you've ever been. And everything was just seemed to be happening the right way. One after another, to the point that you didn't even know what you were doing anymore. I invite you right now to close your eyes. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But I want you to visualize this. I want you to visualize where you want to be 5 years from today. Okay? And I want you guys to tell me this. Where are you living? What part of the world are you living? Are you here? What does your house look like? When you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? What cars are out there? Okay, who you wake up next to? What is your family like? What do they look like? Who's the person that wakes up to you? Okay, what's the first thing you do in the morning? What time are you waking up? What smells do you have? Who's around you? Are the people around you different? How are you acting? How are you behaving? How are you walking? How are you speaking? What does your chest look like when you walk? How are you walking? Are you a leader? And if so, how big? How big of a leader are you in this organization? How big of a team are you leading? Okay, I want you guys to visualize everything like it's real, like you're living it right now. Smell it, feel it. What does it look like? When you go to your patio of your house, what are you looking out to? How big is your view? And I want you to envision, how are you walking? Do you think different now? Because if you're a leader, you probably think different now. If you have people working for you, you're probably teaching them something. What are you teaching them? What are your thoughts now? How have you transformed yourself? Now I want you guys to do this. If you want to be there, you can open your eyes now. If you want to be there, okay, for those of you who visualized it, who said, I'm there, Tony, and my house looks like this, and I'm driving this many cars, and I got this many people working with me, and I'm in the East Cape right now already, and I have a team out there, and I'm here, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. For those of you who actually visualized it, here's how you can make it happen today. Yes, I bet in that visual that you have, you're much more confident. I bet you're walking different. Because when you were at your peak, when you were performing like you've never performed before, I can guarantee you, you were walking different. You were talking different. You were thinking different. Here's how you do it. Today, that person that you saw 5 years from now, 10 years from now, remember we said they're talking different, right? They're thinking different. If you're a leader, you have a responsibility. I bet your actions are different. Your habits are different. Your standards are probably here. You want to become that? Here's the key. From today on, everything that comes out of your mouth needs to be what that person that 5 years from now is saying. Your actions need to be those from that person that you saw 5 years from now. And the thoughts have to be those of that person 5 years from now. And here's why. Because you are exactly where you are right now. Because 5 years ago, you were thinking this way. You were acting a certain way. And you were saying certain things. They put you right there where you are. So over the next 5 years, you want to change that. If you already got success, you want massive success, you don't have to wait. Become now, today. Think like that. Act like that. So when someone asks you, how was your day? And maybe you didn't have the best day. Think, what would the 5 years from now Tony say? Maybe you didn't have the best day, so what happened? Did you get a sell? No, but I learned. How are you doing today? I'm doing amazing. I got my family, everything is right. I work at one of the most successful companies in the sales world today. And that's a fact. Think like that. Act like that. And create the actions that are like that. Because you will start to become that. And all you need to do is invest the next 6 months. I don't even go as far as saying a year. The next 6 months out of your life, the next year are the most valuable years of your life because you will create, or not, that person that you want to become. We all want to become. And the word says, become. Become now. I believe I created my own success simply because I believed it, I acted, obviously, I said it, and I took huge action. I wasn't afraid to be here. I wasn't afraid because I felt I belonged there. So now they go, man, he's killing it. And that person does that person. And then my phone starts ringing, I'm going to go to Cancun, and then I'm going to go to Puerto Peñasco, and then I'm going to go wherever he goes. Now here's the beautiful thing about it, that if you don't necessarily like where you are because you know you have potential for more, if you know you have potential for more, okay, then all I'm asking you guys is to one, believe that you can do it, and then become it. There's no rules of success. There's the psychology of it. There's no rules that say how fast you should get there. There's no rules to say how you should get there. You create the rules. This is your world. How big is your potential? Be with people who want it as bad as you do. Put yourself in a situation where you must succeed. Not, well, I wish. No. Put yourself in a situation where you must succeed. Once you've taken that decision, because everything starts with a decision to want it, but this decision means you have to negotiate. It's an internal negotiation with your heart and your brain. Okay? Because your brain is telling you you have limits. Your brain is telling you, nah, you can wait next week. Nah, start the following week. This is a negotiation. Who's going to come out victorious? You? Your desires? Or your past and your fears that have been haunting you? This is an internal negotiation you got to do with yourself. You got to go and sell yourself on the idea that you want this as bad as you say that you do, that you have the reasons why you want to do it, and all it takes is for you to believe you have the potential. Because if you believe you have unlimited potential, your action is going to be massive, and so will your results. Okay? I leave you guys with that. Thank you guys for having me. You guys.